In exactly the same way as your own organism keeps functioning without your apparently having anything to do with doing it, that process is continuous with, is one process with, all the behavior going on around you, of other people, of nature, and of the entire universe. As you contemplate this possibility, you, shall I say, begin to get the feel of it. And there is a curious point where a concept slips over into getting a knack of actually feeling that's the way it goes. It's exactly the same sort of thing as getting the feel of the wind in sailing, where you need to keep a certain tautness, shall I say, in the sail. It's the same as in many, many other skills, where there comes a point of getting a knack. And at every moment of getting the knack, you have the curious sensation that this which you are doing is doing itself. When you first remember riding a bicycle, when you first actually swam, don't you remember the feeling of somehow it is doing it, rather than I am doing it in the ordinary way? It happened. You know, look, mama, no hands. And so in respect to what I'm talking about, there is a point at which it becomes perfectly clear to you that you are not something struggling against everything else or being victimized by everything else, but that what is going on, insofar as you can experience it, is your own doing. But then at that point, you see, you become, from the world's point of view, crazy. You become a divine madman. The world may be taken then to be fundamentally mad, crazy. All basic life is crazy life, because it's nonsense. Because here we are, you know, we think we make sense. I'm talking English to you, and you understand the meaning of my words. But let's just drop this situation into another context. What is the meaning of your understanding what I'm saying? See? We're all sitting around here, and you are listening to these signals, and you are interpreting them into signals of your own. But look at the situation from above. What a crazy assembly. Because what we're doing, gathering here, making noises, is essentially no different from what this tree is doing out here, spreading out its branches with all these little twigs and things sticking out. And my Jove, what is it doing? Well, you say, if we look at it from a practical point of view, those leaves have a purpose. And they are to absorb moisture and sunlight and to sort of go down into the tree and help the sap to come up. And then the real object of this is that it grows some kind of flower or cone, and that gets fertilized and little seeds inside. And they come out and fall on the ground and get blown about. Some get picked up by birds and distributed. And they make other trees, you see. That's the thing. That's what it's all about. That's a very, very important function. Now, actually, it's sheer nonsense. Is this tree is going patchouli-doo, patchouli-doo. And they say, wowee, isn't that great, you know? Let's spread this around and get everybody else going patchouli-doo, patchouli-doo. But we're doing exactly the same thing. And the trouble with us as civilized people is we don't know it. We think we're being serious. And that we have tremendously important schemes going on, and that it's desperately vital that, for example, the human race survive. and that we go on with this great thing called civilization, the United States of America, the USSR, whatever it is. We think that's the great thing we have to do. But that's what's destroying us. Nobody is going to blow up the world with an atom bomb for the sake of patchouli. Life is this fundamentally directionless, wandering, cloud-like, river-drifting play, and yet I occasionally use the word we should understand. There's the problem that when you see that the world is like this and that you're all one with it and that it's your doing, then you get it absolutely clear in your mind. It is very clear indeed. Then you suddenly want to explain it to somebody and you find there are no words for it. It's only when you see in your own inner experience that it simply doesn't matter. That what is important is what is unimportant, which is the jazz. And that is important, not that it should go on, but in the doing thereof. No, but we've got to be earnest and all that kind of thing, you see. But that doesn't really achieve much, except trouble. It is through application and study and earnestness that we have the atom bomb. We say, well, now look at all the things we civilized people have achieved. Yeah. But you're about to blow up the planet, which seems to be the price of it. But here again, let me underline the fact that I'm not trying to talk down technical skill. I'm only trying, and let me repeat the point, that you cannot employ non-hostile, non-destructive technical skill unless you realize basically that you yourself are this whole domain of nature. That's the real you. You are not in a fight against nature. You're not here to conquer nature, because there's nothing to conquer. It's all you. When we try to explain these things, we run into contradictions for the simple reason that we are trying to explain it. To put it into a language with either or categories in it, where you say either you try or you don't try. Either you let things go as they will, or you do something about it. Either there is something you can do, and therefore you should do it, or there's nothing you can do, and therefore no one should say should. See? Look how messed up you get. But that's the way these difficulties arrive at the linguistic level. These difficulties are not arising at what I will call for the moment the material or the real level. Because there, at that domain, you will find yourself acting in a way that is in many ways more intelligent than you act when you make up your mind. The world may be taken then to be fundamentally mad, crazy. All basic life is crazy life. Because it's nonsense. The death poem of a great Zen master was, I have uttered nonsense from the bathtub to the bathtub. The bathtub in which the baby is washed at birth, the bathtub in which the corpse is washed before cremation, that's the two terms of life. And so all his Zen teaching, all his carryings on were just stuff and nonsense.